Hey, thank you so much for joining us here at the First Alert Desk. I'm Maria Moreau. We might have heard, if you've been following the news surrounding the Powerball lottery lately, two people out of Georgia winning a $1 million ticket, waking up millionaires almost. We want to talk to you more about a little bit of what you should do if you are considering or have already entered the Powerball lottery. That grand prize, the jackpot, is at $1.5 billion last time I checked. We're going to talk to financial expert and advisor from Northwestern Mutual, Derek Murray, who's going to break down the first thing you should do if you become a billionaire. Derek, thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm personally very curious about the correct steps to take when you find yourself with that much money.
No, absolutely. Thank you for having me, and I'm excited to talk about it, which I've played myself. So hopefully we're interviewing each other a couple weeks from now after I win. But what I would recommend to the lucky individual or family who wins this jackpot is one, pause, right? Take a pause. Do not make any rash decisions, as we know when we make decisions when emotions are high. A lot of times it's not the best decision. So the first thing I would say is, hey, pause. Let's allow us to go through the emotions, the celebration, and then from there, let's start working on building a team together. Um, I'm a financial advisor here in Atlanta. I have clients across the U.S. No, none of my clients have ever won the lottery, but I do have a lot of professional athletes, entertainer clients. And sometimes those contracts are like winning the lottery. So what we try and do is establish a plan before the money comes, establish a plan before the flow starts. That way we're able to just make decisions and set guardrails on things before our bank account explodes.
I was going to say, with the two winners being from Georgia, we're on a good trend to win this jackpot prize as a state. I feel like we could collect all of the money together.
Right. No, look, us Georgians, we're going to play, right? And that's why I tell folks, hey, you can't win if you don't play. So
Especially in Atlanta, that one of those tickets was out of Brunswick. Atlanta, we gotta win this one. I want to talk a little bit about some misconceptions. So a lot of people, when they enter the lottery, they think about that grand prize and what they're gonna do with that money. But there's more to it once you actually win. So I want to talk about the lottery process a little bit. Once you do win, there's a certain way you can accept that payment, and it's common terms known as annuity and lump sum payment. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Break that down for me.
yeah, absolutely. So once you win, you have two options on how you could receive your money. There's an annuity payout, which the great thing about the annuity payout is it puts you in a position where you cannot run out of money. They take that lump sum and they will give you a lifetime monthly or annual income, right? So no, you won't get the full lump up front, but you will get a income for life. And 1.5 billion broken down for the rest of your life is a really good income. The other option is taking the lump sum. So if you elect to take the lump sum, no, you don't get the full amount. You get a lower amount minus any taxes, but you do get a big lump sum. Now, when you do that comes all the responsibility of stewarding that money. And that's again where we highly recommend putting a team together, working with a financial advisory firm to really help walk you through that process.
We're speaking with Derek Murray. He's a financial advisor for Northwestern Mutual. I wanted to take a moment and say we are live streaming. So if you have a question about entering the lottery or about winning $1.5 billion, now's the chance. I'm bringing you free financial advice, guys. Let's talk a little bit about you win the money, $1.5 billion. A lot of people make a joke and say, oh, I'm disappearing. None of my friends will see me again. I won't come back to work. Is there a financial strategy when you do win as far as who you're going to tell and what the first steps should be?
Absolutely. There's most certainly a financial strategy which tell only those who are needed to know. So I would certainly keep that news close to the vest and only tell the folks who are closest to you, especially before you can get to the point where you built a financial strategy and have a game plan around how you're going to steward those dollars. Which hopefully, like me, if I win, I will have a huge philanthropic efforts in terms of giving back and being able to share the wealth. So hopefully they're inclined like me. But even before we build out that plan, I will say only those who need to know will know, build out a plan, and then certainly we could help and share those with those around us.
And then let's talk about what we're buying and not buying. I have been dying to take that France vacation and I just want $1 billion. I want to go immediately. Is that such a smart decision to make those big purchases right away? Or should there be some considerations in place before you take that trip or buy that car or make a large down payment on something big like a house, for example?
Absolutely. I would say before we make any of those big purchases, let's really map out our finances, right? Because any lump sum of money can be spent. We've seen it time and time again about the bad stories about previous lottery winners that 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now are back in the situation of where they were. So understand that any amount of money can be spent. There are enough things in the world to buy. So we want to really help our clients build a financial plan to where they will never run out of money. So we need to set guardrails. We need to set up a budget. Absolutely, we want that nice car. Absolutely, we want that nice house. And absolutely, we want to take that trip to France, but we need to map things out of exactly how we want to do it. We don't want to just start freely letting money flow because before you know it, it could all be out of the window.
I think during lottery winnings, a lot of us check the news and follow up on stories. And one story that we hear oftentimes is someone won the lottery and then they found themselves without money pretty fast. How do you avoid going broke after winning such a large amount like that?
No, absolutely. I think one thing we tell our clients is, hey, we cannot out invest your spending. So we really have to put a big emphasis on, okay, how much are we going to spend? What are our budget on a monthly basis, on an annual basis, so that that money does not completely nosedive down to zero. Was as I mentioned, any amount can be spent. So setting up our clients on budgets is something we do with any amount of money that they're making sure they have a good spending habit around how much out of their portfolio they want to take, depending on what things they want to do, like we talked about houses or going on trips. So just setting a sound budget is very important, and that's one of the things I would start with.
And I think the important part about this is it doesn't just apply to the lottery. I mean, you can come upon inheritance. You can win in, let's say you go to Las Vegas and win in gambling earnings. There's a lot of situations where people come up on a large sum of money. And that's why it's important to have a financial plan. And part of why we're talking about this. I want to take a moment to talk about access. You know, people who come up on this large amount of money might not have had access to a financial planner in the past or know how to find one. What should they be looking out for when they're looking for that person that's going to help navigate them through this big change in their life?
Absolutely. And that's a question I get a lot is, hey, how do I choose a financial advisor? Where do I find a financial advisor? One thing I always recommend folks is that make sure that your financial advisor, number one, is a fiduciary, right? And they're held to the highest fiduciary standard, which all that means is that they are legally held responsible for the things that they recommend you. And when we're looking at where, there's a lot of different wirehouses, there are a lot of different firms. What I tell folks to do is interview a couple different people, right? There are a lot of big companies, but it is that person-to-person relationship that you want to make sure you have. Is someone you trust, someone that you feel understands you, someone that you feel has your best interest at heart, and they have the power and the backing of a company that will give them all the tools and resources to be a great advisor for you, which that is where I would certainly point to my relationship with Northwestern Mutual of being able to provide world-class services to our clients.
I think one of your coworkers we were speaking with recently mentioned that being a financial advisor is a lot about being the CFO of a company where your client is your boss and you're really managing the financial aspect of their business, which might in this case be themselves. Their personal life is their business. So it's interesting to put it that way, where you're in control, but you want to find someone who can walk you in the direction you want to go. And that's at the end of the day what a financial advisor really is. Derek, I want to thank you for so much for your time. The lottery is this Saturday, the next drawing for that Powerball. We might have a winner, hopefully out of Atlanta. That would be so exciting for us here at Atlanta News First, just to be able to share that news. But final thoughts, final advice for those that might have their lottery ticket and are just waiting for Saturday night to come.
Yeah, I would say, hey, if you're that lucky winner, like I said, pause, enjoy yourself, celebrate, but then put a team together, get some experts around you that you trust, do a bunch of interviews with folks, put a plan together, because that money, just as fast as it comes, it can go very fast as well.
And we'll let you know if Derek ends up being that winner. No, I'm kidding. Thank you so much for your time. This full interview and more resources about lottery earnings and coming up on a large sum of money are going to be on our website, atlantanewsfirst.com. Derek, I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Be well.